I never thought I'd leave Canada, but here I am living in La Paz, Mexico, and living the dream.
Hey Jen, Max, you just met Suzanne. Her and her husband Mike moved down to La Paz about 4 years ago, moved to this gorgeous house which they built, and we are going to be getting a tour of the house, talking about safety, talking about whether they speak Spanish, things like that. But let's start where I like to start, which is what was going on and what made that transition from wanting to be in Canada for your entire life to wanting to be in La Paz.
Both Mike and I were born in Toronto, and we thought we'd live in Canada forever. But, you know, I'd been with my job for 23 years, and I was ready to leave. And then there was COVID, so that was another reason we decided to move down here. And the real estate market was really hot in our area at that time, so we thought we could get a pretty good price for our house. And so we decided to take the leap.
So that's the leap, but now let's see why, or hear why these guys chose La Paz specifically.
Mike had come down to Cerritos many, many years ago to surf, and he used to always talk about how great it was down here in BCS. So we came down here for a vacation probably about 10 years ago. And then when we really started thinking about leaving Canada, we came down for a couple of kind of go-see visits just to check out the real estate down here and just see what it was like. And we decided we really liked it. We like the climate. I'm a diver, so there's lots of great scuba diving and snorkeling here. A really great outdoor life on the Malecon, hiking, and a great expat community. And it's a sort of a right-sized city for us. You know, we come from a big city, and we didn't want to live anywhere too small, but La Paz, with its population of 300,000, it's the capital of BCS. So there are loads of restaurants, lots of medical and dental care, all of those sorts of things to serve us and keep us busy and happy.
So you guys know that I love La Paz, so I do want to dig a little bit deeper into what she really loves about La Paz. I mean, she mentioned scuba, but let's see, like how often does she go scuba diving?
So fall is the best scuba diving season down here. So I usually go several times every fall, and I also do quite a bit of snorkeling as well whenever I get the chance. Go to the beach. There are 17 beaches within 30 minutes of my home, so there's lots of opportunity to go to the beach, go snorkeling, swimming, just hanging out on the beach with friends. I also do quite a bit of hiking. Usually at least once a week I go hiking during the cooler months. I'm down on the Malecon for a couple of hours every morning with my dog. We also do some volunteer work with dogs at the sterilization clinics. And for a couple of years I was volunteering at the Serpentarium, which is a small zoo that we have here in La Paz. So, I just seem to be busy all the time, getting together with friends or just enjoying our home, our pool. There's always lots to do here.
Once again, La Paz is amazing, but I want to hear if they considered anywhere else when deciding to leave Canada.
We seriously considered Sicily, but it's a lot further from Canada. Because my husband was working remotely for the first year that we were down here, the time difference was a bit more of a challenge. The cost of living is more there. So for various reasons, we just decided that La Paz was a better fit for us.
But I do want to make this a well-rounded video, so we are going to talk about downsides in Suzanne's mind. What are the downsides of living in La Paz?
There aren't too many downsides. I mean, we love it, but there isn't as much culture as we had in a big city like Toronto. Getting imported goods can be challenging or expensive. Building this house, we had to import a lot of things, and it was a little bit complicated. But overall, it's fine. It's great. There's nothing that we can't live without.
Yeah, actually, I was just talking with Andy. She'll be here in another video soon. And she was talking about, they've lived here for around 15 years. And, in the beginning, she said, yeah, we missed things. But then, it kind of like, as time went on, we kind of just got used to the things that you could find and the things you couldn't find. So things change over time. And plus, more and more things end up down here. Like you can get Triscuits here now. So that's important. But one other downside here, as long as we're talking about it, is the airport here is tiny. It's the most convenient airport when it comes to getting in and out quickly, but the flights don't go that many places. So if you're traveling somewhere else in Mexico to a big city, you can probably get a direct flight, but up to the US, currently there's only a flight to LA, and that's only a few days a week. So, and it's probably seasonal too. So Suzanne did mention just a little bit this house, which is a unique house here. A lot of stuff that had to be brought down from the United States to build it, building materials, because it is a little bit different. So let's hear about this house, about the process of building the house, but also the process of deciding to build. Speaking of houses, if you're in the market for a real estate agent here in La Paz, I invite you to reach out to me at brighton@jen-mex.com. Just send me an email and I will connect you with a real estate agent that is perfect just for you. Let's go ahead and get back to the interview with Suzanne.
We actually looked at quite a bit of real estate before we decided to go ahead and build ourselves. We probably would have really rather moved into a ready-built house, but it would have saved us a lot of time and hassle, but we just couldn't really seem to find what we were looking for. The real estate market here isn't really huge. There's not a huge number of houses on the market at any given time. So we just weren't able to find anything, and we were living in a rented condo when we initially moved down here, and eventually we just sort of decided, you know what, why don't we just buy a lot and build?
I want to hear more about finding a lot, because that's not something that we've talked about a lot on this channel. So lots.
Before we even moved down here, we had purchased a lot out of town, and it's in a beautiful area, but you have to pay a premium to build out there. And also, after living in town for a while, we decided we really didn't want to live that far out of town. So then we started looking nearby, and we just happened to find a lot that was very close to the condo that we were renting. We found it while we were walking our dog, and we saw the for sale sign, and we immediately purchased the lot.
Yeah, I can see why this lot would be appealing. You can see here the view from the pool deck that we're sitting on now is amazing. Sunsets are amazing. Just last night there was an amazing sunset. Kat and I miss out on most of the sunsets because our house kind of looks at the sunrise, and then it's back. The sunset is kind of behind our house. We don't have a good view of that. But let's hear more about the process of building this particular house.
Building the house was quite challenging. I mean, my husband was the general contractor on the job, and we decided to build the house out of insulated concrete forms instead of the usual cinder block that most people build with down here. The benefit to that is that it's much better insulated, and it's also extremely sturdy. Also, the interior of the house is drywalled, so it's easier if you want to hang things up, or whereas with the cinder block you have to use a hammer drill to hang anything up. So we had to actually import all the insulated concrete foam, and a lot of the other building materials had to be imported as well. The building process took a lot longer and cost a lot more than what we were initially planning, but it's all worked out in the end, but it was a bit of a saga. I mean, it wasn't easy, that's for sure, but it was worth it.
So let's actually go around on a tour of the house, first with Suzanne to kind of talk about what we're seeing, and then we'll get a little bit more from Mike for some of the behind the scenes stuff that had to happen to make it work.
So we have the entrance area here. We have a set of stairs that goes all the way up to the roof.
Oh, I love that.
And then we have an open concept living room, dining room, kitchen here. And then we walk straight out onto the patio.
Got the grill and the smoker. Very important to have both.
Yes. They'll get built in at some point.
Yep. Love this view. Very nice. And then you've got the outdoor living room and the indoor living room, and the pocket doors that go all the way away. That's something we're looking at in Todos Santos doing, so we won't see any of those doors. Floor to ceiling cabinets. And right off the entrance, we have a little powder room. And then we're gonna head up the stairs. So the TV room just at the top of the stairs. Nice, very nice. Little fireplace.
You don't want to see that room.
Closed door.
We have a guest bedroom, which also doubles as my office space.
Uh-huh, very nice. Working on some closet doors.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a guest bathroom.
Very nice.
And then we have our bedroom. So we had to do this wall here. We had to be a little bit inventive because we wanted the bed facing the view.
The view, yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we have a little balcony out here.
Is this going to be here, or is
No,
this going? That's going in that bathroom.
Yeah.
Some people do that. They have their.
You know, it's actually pretty nice there, but yeah, no, we have a spot for it.
Nice. So we're up one level from where we were before. Perfect.
And then let me get rid of all these towels. This is the master bath. It will have the tub in there at some point.
Yep.
And we have a nice view from both the shower and the tub.
Oh, very nice.
We did all the air conditioning units in the ceiling, so they're more discreet than the mini splits on the walls. And they're all controlled by an app on our phone.
Ah, very nice.
I'm very excited about the closet. In the condo we were renting, we were sharing a closet that was about 3 feet wide, so now we have a nice big closet. Buying all white linens might have been a bit of a mistake.
So we're now upstairs, solar panel stuff that will also be a future powder room, and out onto the 3rd floor deck. Very nice.
And so that's all the solar up there.
Oh, we're underneath the solar. And one more room up here.
There's an extra room. This will be Mike's work office room and workout room.
Nice. This is the view on the back side looking up the hill. Okay, we're going to say goodbye to Suzanne and hello to Mike, and he is going to tell us some of the technical details of the house and the solar system that's right above us.
The panels are bifacial, meaning they collect sun on both sides. So early in the morning, the sun bounces off the bottom, and during the day it collects on the top. And as the day goes on, bounces off the ground again and collects more power. We collect approximately 12,000 watts at the peak of the day.
And we've already seen the batteries, but let's hear a little bit about them and also the cost of the solar system.
Okay, so we have 2 batteries, lithium iron phosphate, which are safe to use inside of houses. Unlike lithium ion that can have issues with fire, these are perfectly safe to have in your home. They're 29 kilowatt hours, meaning that you could run 1,000 watts for 29 hours on these batteries. So they definitely last an entire night, even during the summer. There are 2 battery units, and they're about 175 to 200 pounds each.
So he said even during the summer, and immediately my mind went to, there's more sun in the summer. And of course there is more sun in the summer, but that means there's more air conditioning too. So let's hear a little bit about the energy features of the house.
The house is made of insulated concrete forms, or what's known as ICF. It's like giant Lego that's hollow on the inside. It's styrofoam on the outside. You place it down like Lego. You put in rebar and tie it in place. Then you fill it up with concrete. So the house is like a giant Yeti cooler. We use between 60 and 70% less electricity to cool the house all year round. And quite frankly, we're able to run completely off grid here.
So as long as we have Mike here, let's hear a couple more features of this house.
The house is largely automated. It has air conditioning controls that are controlled through a computer system. It has the same for a lot of the power features, including controlling the pool. The air conditioning units are super high efficiency. Each compressor handles 4 air conditioning units, greatly improving your efficiency. We also use a plumbing product called PEX, which is a flexible pipe that lasts over 50 years and can stand in excess of 100 psi pressure. The solar system in this particular instance is about $27,000 US. This is for a home with 8 air conditioners, heat pump, pool pumps, a 2,100 square feet interior, and we run essentially completely off grid. So we have used 7,100 kilowatts of power, and we've only gotten 100 kilowatts from CFA. It's a hybrid system that allows us to take power in if required in emergency circumstances.
Well, thank you, Mike and Suzanne, for sharing your home with us, sharing your story. And if you are watching this video, I've got some more videos up here on the screen that are perfect just for you. Other expats, other foreigners who've made it happen down here in Mexico. Check those out next. From La Paz with the view of the bay, I wish you were here. Hasta luego.